Really?
Are we rolling?
We're probably rolling. Hey, everybody. Oh. Hey, everybody. Hey, we got a special guest today, John. John operates and runs Dick's Broadcasting in Myrtle Beach. He's local. Make sure you guys turn your phones off.
That's a good idea.
Turn the phones off. So anyway, we were just talking. Is that where you're from, Idaho?
No, grew up in Baltimore. Went to school at Boise State. Blue turf. Woo, go Broncos.
What'd you study?
Marketing,
broadcasting,
business.
Marketing.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Well, you've helped me out a lot. We get out to tens of thousands of people every week here. Here's the thing, guys. The plan was I was going to be here all alone. Fulton Wooten, my co-host, got a family event going on. Last minute, John said, hey, I'll come with you. Hey, I appreciate you joining us.
Actually, I said, do I have to, Doc?
That's exactly how it went. Do I have to?
Glad to be here. Thank you.
Yeah, I appreciate it. So anyway, we talk about all kind of things. Now that we're rolling, it makes me nervous of what are we going to talk about now. But how long you been in this area?
I moved here in 2003. I actually ran Cumulus for 3 years. They moved me. I moved out of the market. I've lived all over the country doing the radio business. Moved back here, ran this cluster of radio stations for 2 years, was sold, went to work for Beasley Broadcasting in North Carolina. Then when DBC bought it, I was fortunate enough that they offered the opportunity to come back. But I've owned a house in Murrells Inlet since 2003. So
that's awesome.
Yeah.
How many stations you run?
5 here.
Okay. That's awesome.
Yeah. Radio business, man. Everybody still listens to the radio.
Everybody listens to the radio.
They do. And for what it's worth, you said how many people listen?
Tens of thousands at least.
About 70,000 people a week listen to WRNN. It's the number one station in the market, and why it's so successful too is most of the people that listen are successful and have money. They care about what's going on in the world.
Yep.
Otherwise,
what do you think about what's going on in the world right now? It's pretty wild out there.
Yeah, but I take solace in this. My dad's 92 years old.
Yeah.
And he always says the same thing, that in his entire life, the media always tries to keep you jumping. They always try to keep you off guard. And one thing that he knows at 92, the world keeps turning. So just work hard.
That's exactly what I think.
Keep your head down and your mouth shut. And in our business, we try to make people money and do the right things for people, and you'll be successful. And I believe that. So,
I mean, you got the election out there. You got schools, not schools. You got Thanksgiving, what to believe, what not to believe.
You got
this
COVID.
group, that group. You got COVID. You got Antifa. You got Black Lives Matters. You got the Proud Boys. You got QAnon. You know what I'm talking about?
I do know what you're talking about.
I haven't heard from QAnon in a while.
I've heard a little bit about all of it.
Yeah.
I mean, you hear more about Antifa and BLM than you do QAnon. Because, basically they're just a conspiracy group is what they are.
I don't know about that. I'll tell you one thing. I like conspiracies. They're exciting. They give a little excitement to the story.
They give a lot more than excitement because, depending on...
You got all this stuff. And then you got the Republicans and the Democrats. You got everybody.
I'll tell you
what
this.
What do you know?
I'll tell you this. 2020 is going to be interesting because I got a feeling that when we come out of this year, we're going to see a lot of movies and stuff about 2020, about things that's happened.
It's almost like a real life movie.
Yeah.
It's really what it is. And what do you really know? What do you know? You don't really know anything. You got to do what your dad said. Hey, it is what it is.
Got to live and let live.
Do.
Keep your head down. Keep your mouth shut. Work hard every day.
You
got to
take care of yourself.
Yeah.
I mean, we talking these guys. We talked about it before on this show. We talking big, serious moolah, cheddar. We talking in the hundreds of billions of dollars on an election.
Wow, look how much money they spend in South Carolina.
Well, 200. I think a little over 200 million were spent between Lindsey and
Jamie Harrison.
Yeah. It was 200 million there. And you think about that. That was a drop. The interesting one is going to be to see how much money is spent in Georgia right now. They're ramping up the races down there.
What I'm saying is, like you said, we got the best listeners. We got the best listeners on the Grand Strand and everywhere. They're smart people. They're successful. They care. Most of us, though, when we're talking those billions, we're nothing. We're on a whole nother level, son. So what are you going to do about it? You're going to do what your dad said do.
Well,
do what you got to do.
Again, I think if you have a little integrity and you do the right things, and in our business, I like to think that we try to help people, and we try to, when you and I met, It's pretty honest and straightforward with what I thought you ought to do. And you're doing it, and you're still doing it, and you're successful, and people are listening to you. And I meet your folks that come in here that you have, helped. And I'm always curious because, we got started with that conversation. We were talking about stem cell.
That's right.
And I believe that is the future of medicine.
Where did we meet at? You threw a party, a breakfast party or something.
Yeah, I met you at Advantage.
I don't know what that means, but I think I met you at a party.
Yeah.
You threw a breakfast party.
Could have been. We were over at the
one of those nice hotels.
Yeah,
Crown.
And that's how
Crown
we started
Reef?
talking.
It was a Crown Reef.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And when I found out what you did with the stem cell stuff, because I believe I'm going to be. I don't have that need right now, but I'm hoping we're friendly enough because we're all probably going to have that need at some point.
John,
hey, here's the thing: time takes a toll on everybody.
Hey, at one point, Doc, what's going to happen is he's going to go play golf, and he's going to swing probably one time, and who knows what's going to happen.
That's what we call the straw that breaks the camel's back.
No, more likely, my back gets sore because I'm standing around the stove because y'all know I love to cook, and I'm putting on my 20 COVID pounds, right?
He's gonna say, "Hey, I didn't do anything. I was just cooking meatballs."
That's right.
That's what we call the straw that breaks the camel's back. So we got John here. John, I'm glad we're talking today. We talked about stem cell regenerative medicine. You've seen some of the people that have come in here and done some interviews and talked about it. And you told me a story one time about a dog.
Oh, absolutely. I was actually living in the Panhandle of Florida, and my business manager came into the office and told me that she saw something miraculous. And I said, "What's that?" That 2 weeks earlier, there was a fellow there that had a German Shepherd that they thought they were going to have to put down because the arthritis was so bad. And there was a veterinarian there that was, doing the stem cell stuff on pets. And the guy had this done. The dog came bounding across the yard. This was a dog they were talking about putting to sleep.
Mm.
They did the stem cell on the dog's hips, and like a miracle, the dog's like a puppy, literally. And this is a lady that I know, and she's a business manager, straight up, no exaggeration. She almost started crying because you know how we feel about our pets.
That's right. That's right.
And I don't know if any of the vets do it here.
I don't know either. I know we have a very popular, probably the best veterinarian right beside our office in Carolina Forest in Myrtle Beach, and they are busy all the time. It'd be interesting to hear some of the things that they may or may not do over there. I'm going to have to ask around.
What I think's always fun, because I answer the door. Now with COVID, we lock the front door. So I usually hear somebody knocking, and I go out to the door. I let them in. I say, "Oh, you're here. You must be the doctor's guest." So they come in, and usually they're here a little early, and I get those 5 or 10 minutes because I'm naturally kind of nosy and curious anyhow. Uh-huh. And I say, "Tell me your story," and it's miraculous what they're sharing. And the fellow was here. That's it. I noticed he had a Top Flight golf cap on. I said, "You play golf?" Because that's one of my things. And he said, "I do now." And I said, "What do you mean?" And he was talking about how, and we had a mutual friend down at, Bob Sagani at True Blue. And he was talking about how Bob would say to him, "Why don't I see you playing golf anymore?" And he said, I just can't.
What do you have going on, knees or back? Okay.
His knees. And he said, I just can't. He said, "My knees are shot. I can't play golf anymore." And someone had heard the ads or whatever and suggested that he talked to the doctor. So he went to see Dwyer, and he went out there, and now, here's the guy. I won't say he was jogging down the hall, but you'd never know that he had knee issues. Mm-hmm. It's miraculous to me. And I believe that's the future. I think at some point, you're going to go and you're going to have a bad shoulder, bad elbow, knee, whatever. You're going to get the shot and be done. And you're not going to spend, whatever crazy number it is to have knee surgery done. And I know how difficult the knees and the hip surgeries are. I don't think you fully recover from that.
No, there's no way. There's too much buildup of scar tissue. Yeah. Poor lady we took care of this week. I'll have her come in. You'll love her. She's a character. But she was in so much pain for 9 months. After, 9 months ago, she had a knee surgery, a total knee replacement done. So much pain for 9 months. They said the scar tissue kept building up so much they had to go in and do another surgery to pull the scar tissue out. She was still in pain. They were going to do it another time and replace the knee replacement.
Yeah.
So that happens. And she came in, and the doctors gave her the recommendations. She decided to do some of the treatments. There's nothing we can do with that joint. It's a replaced joint. But we did the treatment in the areas around the joint where the swelling and the pain was. And 3-4 weeks into it, she was getting discouraged after 3-4 weeks, okay? Because we have people get very fast results, and she's heard about it. But about 3 or 4 weeks, I can't remember, she came in with both arms up in the air. She's shouting, whoo! Like, it was like she won the Super Bowl.
Hallelujah!
Like first day in 9 months or more, 10 months at this point, that she's been in no pain. No pain. I'm not sure how many years she was in pain before she actually had the operation done. But one thing I'm really thankful for you and Rick and everybody here is during COVID, when everything is shut down and when we do a lot of dinner parties and meetings and seminars for people, we weren't able to do it. But we're able to come here and reach, like you said, 70,000 people. And what has happened is during COVID time, they weren't doing surgeries on people. They weren't doing hip replacements. They weren't doing knee replacements, shoulder replacements. They were only doing emergency surgeries, not elective surgeries. And being here and getting out what we're doing and helping out people. I have many people come from hearing us on this show that they couldn't have the surgery done. They wanted to do something to get out of pain. They came in, we did the treatments, and they're not even considering surgery now.
Well, and what we haven't talked about either is the mental state that these people are in. You can't help but be absolutely depressed. If your thing was walking your dog every morning on the beach and you can't do that.
That's right.
And you rarely hear people speaking about that and what that must do to you and to be that person that's maybe, bound to the couch or the bed or wherever, and all of a sudden you're back having your life. That mentally has to be an amazing, amazing thing.
Yeah. Good point. I had one guy tell me, he said, "Hey, I feel like a man again."
Yeah.
I feel like a man again. So I appreciate you allowing us to be here to be able to get the word out, because they're not doing as many surgeries. Who knows if we're going to get locked down again? Who knows?
And that could happen.
I hope not. I can't imagine that. I really can't.
What do you imagine is going to happen if they flip what they think is a victory for Joe Biden and they announce Trump as the president? What happens? What happens, acutely? What's going to happen in the next
I don't think that's
3 days, 3 weeks? You think everything's going to...
No, I don't think that's going to happen.
Think it's going to go wild? No, I'm saying if it does.
Yeah. I don't know. It's a resilient company. I'm a resilient country. I think if they show you the evidence...
That would almost be the worst case scenario.
It would be so unprecedented. I think a lot of people shy from change, and I think the country is resilient. I think we're the greatest country in the world. I think no matter what,
for sure.
I think no matter what happens, right. Shoot, I'm older than you all. So I worked in the gas lines when Carter was the president in Baltimore in 1978. I saw those miles long gas lines and the craziness and the fights and all the stuff that went with it. And there were times, again, I always felt my dad was a pretty smart guy.
What'd he say?
And I'd go home at night and say, "This is crazy." And he used to always say the same thing. I survived World War II. He's a World War II veteran. I survived World War II. I survived the Depression. And he said, when you look back at it, he said, this will pass also.
This too shall pass.
We generally, as a country, when times are the bleakest or we feel it is, we do go to the polls. We do vote. We don't hold people's feet to the fire, I think, hot enough or extreme enough. Keep in mind, those people work for us. And I think rarely do people say that. You put them in office, they work for us. I expect them to do what we need to do as a society, and I think people will and do. And, there were folks that I'm sure looked at life in 1929 like the world was going to end, and by 1959, they were okay.
No doubt. It says in the Bible, there's nothing new under the sun. Yeah. Nothing new under the sun. Yeah. It's the same stuff.
That's
I think we'll be all right.
Well,
I do too.
I think now that they're close to with the vaccine, Because I think, what is the company? M-O-D-E-R-N-A, Moderna, or something like that. They've got supposedly a vaccine that's 95% effective. That's got to give people hope.
Well, we have a lot of money in this country. And what it really comes down to is someone making the commitment. We obviously, I mean, there's just the smartest people in the world. I mean, there's brilliant people everywhere, and they're working on it. They have the money to find it. They'll fix it. Of course, I'm the eternal optimist.
Okay. You're in media. This is what we do. Do you feel like, to a certain degree, there's way more hype about the negative that makes things worse than it should be?
I think where things have changed in the media, now it's about the click-through. Okay, I use Yahoo for my front page.
All right.
Okay, there are a couple things that you'd notice if you sat on my computer, you'd see every day. I get classic car stuff because I love classic cars. I get golf stuff, and I usually get some type of space. I love the scientific space stuff. Okay, so it feeds me that. It knows my algorithms. It feeds
cars,
me stuff.
golf,
and space.
Yep, that's pretty cool. Pretty cool, John.
Well, it feeds me those things. But if your interests are politics, whatever they may be, they feed you these things. And I think societally, it makes people feel anxious and a lot of anxiety. And now it's about the click through. Now, if you feed me something and I don't click through on it, it doesn't feed me that again. But if there's something you like, maybe it's politics, and maybe it could be left wing, right wing, whatever. Whatever your deal is, right? It feeds you these, and it keeps feeding them to figure out where your barometer is. It could get too far out. You don't click through on that, but it's all about this clickbait.
Yeah, and they got computers, artificial intelligence figuring this out, the data on you. Yeah, there are documentaries and books out about this, interviews, how it's somewhat problematic, but kind of like, I think with the point of what you're saying is, it's not going to do anything to you that you don't allow it to do. Is that what you're saying? Garbage in, garbage out?
Well, yeah, but if your perspective, whatever it is, maybe your perspective is a little flawed on it, it keeps feeding you to that point where.
So what you're saying is you can't fix stupid.
Well, I would put it that
That's
way,
what you're saying.
Yeah. Well, what happens is I think that you're fed information, again, whatever that is. You're fed this, which creates your feeling of truth and reality. That's what you think this is. And they guide it. Can guide society this way sometimes. And I think there's a lot of information out there that 2 days later you're finding out.
Okay, so they guide society.
True.
I love what you said. They guide society. Yeah. Okay, say somebody else was doing it. How far off could we have been guided compared to what we're guided right now? Can't be too far off if somebody else was doing it. Am I right?
Well,
or do you think it could be a completely different society?
Oh, I think that it can be manipulated. I mean, if you're
to a degree.
Well, look at it. Everybody right now feels like, holy smokes.
I know that's how everybody feels. Yeah. Like you said, it's how they feel, but how it really is. Perception. That's what we're talking about. Perception. So if there was even if somebody else was doing it, how far off from reality do you think we really would be? Not how we feel, but from reality.
I don't know.
We'd be the same.
That's
be the same.
Well, maybe it's hard to measure, but I think the difference is it's hard to change. It's hard to change your opinion on something. And if somebody keeps it's almost like preaching to the choir. They keep feeding whatever that information is to you.
I get
that becomes your reality.
But at the same time, too, if you've noticed, John, Doc, that there's a lot of things that gets put out there on TV, or media, and you don't know what to believe sometimes because it changes every day. So once again, you go back to perception.
Yeah, it's really what you perceive.
Oh,
and they're definitely influencing it. Yeah. Are you kidding me? Definitely.
Yeah, and I don't know how you change that, but when I get that way, I always say to my wife, you know what we need to do? Let's start looking at real estate in Montana.
Well, it's gonna go. It goes with you everywhere now. I mean, it's part of the the ether is with you. So it's kind of like it's almost again like what your dad said. You know what? You just got to do what you got to do, and just take some responsibility.
Well, a lot of people aren't willing to take responsibility.
A lot of people just need some excitement.
Yeah.
When you think
A lot of people don't like change.
Yeah.
I don't. I like big change, and then I like no change.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Well, yeah, man. Sometimes it's nice to just kind of go with the flow.
No, you like to be surprised. You like to be
go with the
surprised.
flow.
You like to be surprised, but you still like to keep it level. It's okay to get a surprise every now and then, but you don't like the too many of them.
Yeah, maybe that's it. That's it.
Well, yeah, you'd rather win the lottery than find out you got a brain tumor.
I like routine.
They're both surprises.
You got two different.
That's
surprises.
a heck of an analogy,
Yeah,
John.
well, they're both surprises.
Yeah, I'm kind of. I like very routine. I like things to be very routine, very organized. Boom, 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 boom. But in that, I gotta have some excitement, and the body will get addicted to excitement.
Mm-hmm.
It'll get addicted to it. Adrenaline junkies,
Mm-hmm.
they'll. You gotta have some excitement, and I'm trying to mature myself away from that.
Some of that is physiological, though. It's in your brain. That's the reason why some
exactly
people
what I'm
become
saying.
addicted.
That's exactly right.
Some guy takes a pill and he's addicted in days, and another guy could have been taking it for 6 months, and when he's done, he's done.
He's done.
You know?
Yeah, I definitely have an addictive personality, for sure. I get excited.
So what do you do when you need that rush?
But I don't have the need to. I don't have a need for the rush. You
ever jump out of a plane?
He enjoys it when it happens.
No, I was at that point one time. I was like, nah, I'm over that. I don't
Combat?
need that. I do a little bit of martial arts, yeah. But I don't feel like I need the rush. I just live my life in a way to where sometimes I look back and I'm like, you know what? I created an issue when it really wasn't that hyped. I could have been just calm, collective, but instead I acted like, all right, we'll put it this way. Tom Cruise, Mission Impossible. So exciting every moment.
Mm-hmm.
I need that in my life, but I'm trying to calm it down. I like that excitement.
So you're a thrill seeker, or you would like to be.
I'm a thrill seeker for sure.
Okay.
I like it. And things happen. Thrills happen.
What kind of car you drive?
Cadillac.
Yeah. So you're not a Ferrari guy then?
Yeah, I am a Ferrari guy. If I had $250,000, I want to spend on a Ferrari.
But you got to
Ferrari would be it exactly.
But you got to remember too, he's a family man.
Yeah.
I'm a family man.
I had this conversation with somebody yesterday, and I said, it all seems really fun till you get that $250 ticket out there on 31. There aren't any more $20 speeding tickets. They're $200, $250, $300, and you're going, it really wasn't that fun.
No, my favorite, John, was the guy that took his Ferrari or Lamborghini at the Myrtle Beach Speedway and wrecked it and thought the insurance company was going to pay for it.
Whoops.
Yeah. So what's your favorite muscle car? I like exotic cars. I like muscle cars. I like more the new modern type exotic cars, but I have a huge respect for muscle cars. What you like?
I love the 64-ish GTO Pontiacs.
Okay.
It's hard not to like the early 60 Corvettes.
Classics.
If I was just going to go take about $20,000 and throw it away at something on a nice little driver, maybe something British, Triumph TR6, red, brown leather top. But actually, the Sunbeam Tiger, I don't know if you've ever seen one of those. It looks like a TR6, except they put a 289 Ford V8 in it. That was from the factory. Yeah, fun to drive.
You know what I think is a cool car?
What's that?
You ever seen the show Supernatural? The 1967 Impala.
Oh, that's a great car.
Man, that big block
I can't
in
picture it.
How do you beat the chase scene from the movie Bullet with Steve McQueen?
Oh, now that's a classic. Come on.
The Mustang versus the Charger.
Who won?
McQueen did, but he was the star of the movie. He had the Mustang.
Well, good.
In San Francisco.
My first car was a 65 Mustang.
Ah, great car.
Yeah.
Had V8 or 6-cylinder?
V8.
Yeah. Nice.
Yeah.
289. Automatic.
Yep.
4-speed.
Automatic.
Yeah. Oh, what a great car.
Yeah.
See, if you had it today, we wouldn't be here. You'd sell it and retire.
Seriously?
Yeah.
Is that?
Well, you figure if you matching numbers.
I still got it.
Oh, if the numbers match and it's in mint condition. 50s.
The best one I've seen was the one on the what was the movie? It's called Eleanor. The Mustang called Eleanor. Who knows the name of this movie?
Are you talking about Christine?
No, Eleanor.
Well, I don't remember that one.
Gone in 60 Seconds. Gone in 60 Seconds.
Oh yeah, the Nicolas Cage movie.
That's right.
Oh.
No, that's how the Mustang needs to look.
There's a company that takes those Mustangs and puts everything in them to make them modern.
Yeah, that's what I need.
And they're gorgeous, man. They're
That's what I
gorgeous.
need.
I think they're around 100.
Dang, son.
That's a lot of stem cell.
I'm a family man.
Yeah.
I'm a
That's
family man. So, hey, we're wrapping it up here. We're cutting it off. I appreciate you being here. If you had one last thing to tell all the listeners, what would you let them know? What would you let them know about the community? What would you let them know about Advanced Medical? Anything you want to share with them for the next 30 seconds?
Well, I know this. I've lived all over the country. I've lived coast to coast. And there's a reason I'm here in Myrtle, and I'm 59 years old, and I'm hoping this is my last stop in the road, and my next career is going to be loading your golf bag onto the back of the cart.
Nice.
I think it's a unique community. I have been very fortunate to meet people like you, Dwyer, that I think sincerely care about the folks you work with and what you do in the community. And that's what makes it really unique and rare here, because I've lived in pretty good sized cities where, you know what, nobody really cared, and you were a customer. And here I get to know you. I get to know the folks. I get to know your folks. And I think that makes it pretty unique. And I'm in Myrtle Beach. Yeah, I think that's a great place to live. I think you're not going to recognize it 10 years from now.
Yeah.
Because the secret's out.
The secret is out.
Yeah,
and, this is paradise. Sometimes I call it gangster's paradise when we have some, issues. But hey, this is paradise.
When you forget that, sometimes this is my recommendation to everybody. When you forget that, you get in your car and you go to Huntington Beach, and you're 2 minutes. I mean, you're feet from the water, and you get out there, and this time of the year when it's calm and it's quiet and it's 70 degrees and you're walking, you're looking out at that water. Why would you ever want to be anywhere else? And it puts your life in perspective, And,
where's that?
Yeah, man, we live in one of the greatest cities in the world.
That's right. Welcome to paradise. Hey, John, I appreciate it.
Hey, thanks for having me.
I'll talk to everybody next week.
Hey.
Have a good day.
See you.
Thank you, Dr. Scott, and thank you.